In the middle of September, I decided that I'm going to take a gap year and travel. Weird, right? Considering everything that's happening in the world right now. But that's what I decided. It felt weird to pick such a path, and it still does, even when I'm already on it. In a moment where most people around me strive to keep balance, to focus on being grounded and spend their time in the most productive way despite the circumstances, I felt that the right thing for me to do was something completely opposite. I decided to throw myself into something unpredictable. I felt that to be happy with myself this year, I have to do something that my heart strives for, and I thought, if the world decided to be chaotic this year, I'm going to let it be chaotic and see where it takes me. I'm still surprised how easy it was for me to make that decision. I think that it's a good example of how the quarantine quietly changed the way many of us think. I really noticed the difference when the autumn came. Maybe some of you had a similar experience with September this year. For me, the beginning of autumn felt like silence before a storm. The vision of coming back to my university seemed a bit surreal to me. And it wasn't about all of the new limits and rules, not about not wanting to deal with online classes again or writing my thesis. I could deal with all this. But the truth was that since March I lived such a different life than before. I lived on new rules and found some new pathways for my thoughts. And now, at the beginning of autumn, I felt very clearly that returning is something that is simply not going to make me happy. That if I stay, winter is going to be very dark and demanding. Returning to what was didn't seem like coming back on track and pushing my life forward. It felt like taking a step back. It's a little bit harsh to realize because the quarantine gave me an impression like the time has stopped. Like we all froze and stopped moving, stopped growing and changing. But in reality, that was only an impression. Time kept flying by and we kept flying with it. Apparently, I flew so far that I landed in Paris.
closer, don't be shy.
So why Paris? I can't really explain it in terms of logic. Logically speaking, the whole idea of traveling this year was totally insane and so many things spoke against it. But the feeling I had was clear and it was telling me to go. There was just something that drew me to Paris, and I knew that this is where I want to start. I felt that the right thing to do right now is to follow my instinct. It felt right then, and even though right now we stepped into a second lockdown in France, somehow it still feels right. It's like a challenge that I was supposed to take. If I chose to return to my university or even to stay in my little cottage in the middle of a forest where I've spent the first quarantine, it would feel like I've missed a chance and ignored my inner voice. One of my favorite quotes from Lord of the Rings is the one where Bilbo says, "It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to." And with all my love and respect for Tolkien, I'm going to have to say that I will be ignoring that warning for the next year. This was Hummingbird in the middle of November 2020. I'll see you guys soon.
Say goodbye to me. Describe the sky to me. And if the sky falls, mark my words.